What is going on? It's Devin here. Episode 3 of the Cabin Fever podcast. What a crazy episode. Spoilers are about to be said from episode 3. Easily the best episode so far this season. I mean, hopefully we can top it, but damn, that was a crazy episode. 2 vote-offs, 2 great challenges, and a crazy finish to the episode. A first for Survivor in Survivor Whitewater or Wisconsin that happened at the end there. So go check it out before you watch this. Let's dive right into it. And I'm joined by no other than my co-host, Richie. What is going on?
I'm having a great time. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How was that episode? Was that the best one you had easily or what?
I think it was a great episode for multiple reasons. I'm assuming we're going to get into soon enough. I liked it.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Obviously, Richie now is officially out of the game, but he's officially the co-host now of the Cabin Fever podcast with yours truly. We're going to really dive into the rest of the season, every episode now, so hope you guys watch this. Again, spoilers are about to be said, so go watch episode 3 beforehand because I don't want to ruin it for you.
If you don't watch it, I'll vote your ass off first chance I get.
Whoa, Richie, season 4. He's coming back, maybe. We'll see. So, Richie. Episode kind of starts off with this challenge. They had to do a 4-legged race to 2 new tribes. So we got the new Grizzly Bear tribe, the new Wolfpack tribe, and Dolphin Sam's exiled. So he's not in the game right now. But he did get a steal vote, which we saw last episode. So They had the challenge go down. You want to talk about it?
Honestly, I love that challenge. Like, that's one of the reasons I was so mad I was out first, is because, like, those challenges looked so much fun. Like, of course, I would have demanded my tribe make me do the first part, the easy part, because, you know, I would have sucked ass at the rubber band part. Like,
yeah, it was tough.
But like, I kind of felt bad for, like, Kyle, that it's, like, it didn't look easy with the small rubber bands, and it's, like, a lot of people I noticed, like, a lot of us there had, like, bigger fingers, so it's, like, it was a little harder for a lot of us with bigger fingers, but at the same time, it's, like, I don't know, I kind of felt bad people shat on him almost for that, but it's, like, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, it's tough, I mean, so...
yeah, they're not meant to be easy.
No, yeah, it was fun watching them hop, and then had to go tag their partner, Emma, for the Wolfpack tribe, and Kyle Wilson for the Grizzly Bear tribe, and... little behind the scene info, but I kind of organized that challenge the day or two beforehand, and I gave each team an equal amount of rubber bands, and I gave 3 really bigger ones that were going to be good, and then 4 kind of ones that weren't the best, as we saw Kyle Wilson talk about later on when they're talking at the challenge. But I did that purposely. They had to rebound themselves. Emma gets the win, so that was it there. Wolfpack stays undefeated, 3-0 at this point. So then we visit Sam at Exile Island, and we get Richie's little interview skills going to the max, talking to Dolphin Sam. Sam seems pretty confident in how the game's going for him so far. He finds out that he's going to have to join the Grizzly Bear tribe once they eliminate somebody, and he's got to steal a vote advantage good till Final 7, so he's happy, says, I might have to use it once I get there if we lose. So what'd you think about that? Obviously, you're the one that interviewed him, but... nice little conversation. Did you like that thunder that I put in there? Kind of scary.
Oh, I love the thunder. Yeah, it scared me a little bit. I was watching it on my TV, and I'm like working on stuff as I'm like watching it, and this like thunderous clap comes on. I'm like, like I don't know. I remember like when I was filming that, I was trying to get like as much info as I could from him, because I was just like, okay, like I'm out of the game, I might as well see what's been going on with him. Because I think I mentioned before that like Sam is one of the top people I wanted to work with if I would have been in his tribe. But like I was trying to get info. I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Like who do you want to target? And he's not telling me anything. And I'm like, okay, like if he's already holding his cards up with me, like that's smart enough for his game in general. But not that I would have told anyone. Obviously, I wouldn't have told anyone in production at that point.
Yeah.
But if he can already hide it from production, then he's smart enough to hide it from everyone else in the game. Kind of like Danny Boatwright in Survivor Guatemala. At least that's what the vibes I got from it. But I think Sam, at that point, just is very confident. He's in a good space. He knows that regardless, whatever he goes to, he's safe. So.
Yeah, and I mean, he touches on the part of the first episode where I did that little pirate hunt for both tribes where you had to find 2 clues and then it would lead you to an advantage under the voting box. and Dolphin Sam and Jasper on the ends of those, and they both got the advantage to find out where it was, like clue to where the advantage was.
Oh yeah.
And Jasper ultimately got there first because he lost. And Dolphin Sam said, he's like, yeah, maybe it's still there, Richie. I don't know. He's like, or the other tribe already got it. We'll see if Dolphin Sam, when he does go to tribal, if he does look under there, because it's been gone for a while because he hasn't had to go to tribal. Yeah. So that's
I can't wait to hear more of his reactions on that.
I know, right? That's 2 consecutive seasons on Survivor Wisconsin that we did that. So maybe season 3, anybody's watching that plays in it, maybe look in the voting box right away when you're voting. Hint, hint.
Well, now they're going to be expecting it, though. Now they're going to expect it.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not hosting season 3. I'll probably help plan it if I don't play. We'll see. So that's kind of it with Dolphin Sam. Gives you some insight. Go check out an episode. So then we first go to the winning tribe again, the Wolfpack tribe. Vibes are good again. They're feeling good, and we do a couple interviews with all of them. They all kind of seem like, at least Dakota and Matt say that they're going for Jasper if they lose a challenge. Jasper's saying that he thinks Matt's a little bit quiet, I guess, which I'm not sure. I got that vibe personally from my boy Matt. Maybe it was
Matt definitely felt like he was playing more quieter that round.
Yeah.
Like, at least quieter than he did in Wisconsin 1. Like, compared that to Wisconsin 1 or how he was playing before the swap, then, like, obviously that's a little different, but, like, at the same time, like, Matt is... I think one definite thing me and Matt have in common is that we are not quiet players. Like, we make ourselves known, like, very well on. So it's, like, the fact that he said Matt's a quiet player is kind of like... Like, Matt's like, if Matt's being too quiet, it's strategy, so...
Yeah, and you caught on to that. That's a good point, and... They don't really, nothing really happens there. They just kind of talk about still winning and still having that mindset that all they're really focusing on is the challenges at this point because they're winning. I mean, that is the good part. Obviously, like there's good and bad about winning a lot because obviously you're safe, but at the same time, when you do lose, you do get to see where your alliances truly are if the person that you think you're with votes. So we'll see if
like in Survivor Palau, there was like a lot of talks within that season where. I remember, like, Sarah Palau, for those who haven't seen it, it's known for having a one tribe win, like, every immunity challenge it could possibly win. And the entire, like, pre-merge, like, the entire Karora tribe is just fighting every couple seconds almost at one point because they're so annoyed with each other because they haven't gotten rid of anyone. And they're like, well, we don't know who we can really trust because we've never gone to tribal yet. And obviously, I guess that's in the later game, but, like, it's almost giving me that vibes with Wolfpack at the start of the whole season where they're just winning and they're like, well, we haven't gone to trouble yet, so who can we trust?
Yeah, so nothing else really happens there, and then we head to the Grizzly Bear tribe again, having to vote somebody off for the 3rd time in a row now. They kind of discussed the challenge again, and Kyle Wilson's complaining about the rubber bands hurting his fingers. I hope you kissed your boo-boo, Kyle, if you watch this. But so they kind of discuss the challenge again, and Arthur goes in for an interview, and Kyle Wilson's saying right away, thinks Arthur has an idol, says it to Kyle, Sheil, and Dan, like, no problem. So they're still huddled and talking crap about the person that goes to get interviewed. It's still same strategy, but finally Kyle Wilson's got a second chance this game. He's calling people out, says he thinks Arthur had an idol. I don't know why he thought that, but interesting take. So... I said I don't know why he assumed Arthur had something, but interesting thought by Kyle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just want to point out the fact, I think it's funny, I got 3 votes against me, and they lost 3 in a row, so let me call that out first. They thought they were going to be so much better without me, and like, okay, well, 3 in a row, 3 votes against me, you lost 3 in a row, because it didn't help you, did it?
Whoa.
Like, and just all the strategy, it's like, I seriously wish I kind of would have talked to more of them, because now I'm wondering if, like, maybe, because, like, obviously with, like, some of them, they're newbie players, so it's like they're going to be very impressionable.
Yep.
But then you have, like, Kyle Sheil also doing this. It's like, this is Kyle's, like, 6th time, too. Kyle Wilson, this is, like, his 4th time overall in the game, and he's back for a 2nd time this season already after coming back in. It's like, you think they would do a little bit more, but, I mean, it's definitely weirder when there's only, like, 4 people on a tribe. It's like, if you and one person go off to talk when someone else is in a confessional, then you're just leaving one person out there alone. And obviously, like, that sends a bad signal to that person. Like,
no.
I don't know. It's like, just from experience from, like, Targaryen tribe and Winter War, it's like you never want to leave one person out. Because then that person's going to think, like, oh shit, they're not including me in this conversation. They're targeting me. And, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish they would have went to talk more, but like I kind of get the reasoning behind it. It's like you don't want to make someone feel like you're leaving them out because then they're going to want to target you instead. So
Yeah, and it almost seems again that Arthur and Dan are valuing what happens in a challenge, the old school mentality of strategizing,
oh, very
saying they did their end. Obviously, they said Kyle Wilson's part of the challenge was tougher, but he dropped the ball and didn't get it done. So that's what they're kind of saying again, which, I know Arthur hasn't played in a long time and Dan's first time playing, so I kind of almost equal them as newbies in this situation. And it's very, like you said last episode on the podcast, it is kind of refreshing to see their strategy of going off challenge performance because there is no criteria of what you have to do to vote somebody off. Obviously, you want to, probably get out threats at certain points, but they're going off challenge based.
This late in the game, I feel like it's just kind of a cop out excuse at this point. Like the first or second challenge, when you don't, if it's like a full on newbie cast or maybe like a couple of first or second boots with a newbie group, I can totally get the mentality of like challenge strength because it's like you don't have anything to go off of if you don't know each other that well. But if it's like third, fourth, fifth round in the game and you still don't have definite alliances down, you still don't have definite ideas of targets, then that's not really challenge strength. That's just y'all being stupid. Like, I mean, you can't base every vote off the challenge strength. Like, again, first couple rounds, I get it, and it definitely still is refreshing to kind of hear that mindset, but it's like, it's already starting to get at least somewhat in the middle of the game. And it's like, I'm surprised they're still thinking about it because they've had that mindset 3 tribals in a row, and does it help them? Not really. No, so
that's very true. And so, they
Arthur also made a dumb decision to vote me off. So what do they know?
Arthur and Dan are kind of on the mindset of going for Kyle Wilson again. And Kyle Shield says in his interview that he's looking at possibly going Dan, which Dan does have the idol at this point. And then kind of, obviously I didn't put any audio because you wouldn't have been able to hear it, but we see both Kyles talking to each other as they're walking up to tribal, a little bit of the Keel verse, which kind of was cool to see.
The Keel verse,
which is scary. It's scary to be in. I don't want to get stuck in there. There's too many Kyles for me. But then we had to head to the tribal, and it ends up being a 2-2 tie. 2 Arthur and 2 Kyle Wilson. So Dan and Kyle have the decision on there. If they don't vote together on the revote, one of them's out on a rock. Does it come down to huh?
No, I just said, oh yeah.
Yeah, so they talk, and Dan kind of pitches, and Shield kind of pitches what Kyle Wilson said to him, saying that he thinks Arthur maybe that Kyle Wilson kind of said that Arthur is an idol, maybe just to fib a little bit to get Kyle on his side. And Dan says, well, our boy Richie that we voted off right away gave us a little insight that Kyle Wilson and Survivor SNC, not a part of this universe, but a different in a different Survivor he played in that none of these guys have seen. I've seen Kyle Wilson play a little bit, but people aren't really aware of his game because it's a different Survivor, not associated with idol identifiers. And they were saying, according to Richie, he's a little bit of a shifter.
Twice from beyond the fucking grave.
So Richie's name gets brought back, and he's never dead. He's still helping film. He's still doing interviews, which we appreciate. But ultimately, Kyle Shield and Dan decide to vote out Kyle Wilson. Voting Kyle Wilson off for the second time, tough to see it. I do feel bad for him partially, but he did get a second chance, and I mean,
now he's going for his third.
Yeah, and now he finds an interview. Redemption Island still is alive, so he is sent there waiting his opponent in the next duel. You want to touch on any of his elimination there?
Yeah,
I know he's not out of the game, but
I kind of feel bad because it's like it sucks getting voted off once, but to get voted off twice in a single season sucks even more. But a part of me does think it's kind of funny that it's like I know I'm not the sole reason he got voted off, but the fact that comments I've said about his game carried over to both of his vote offs, I low-key think it's funny. Like I low-key laugh because I'm like from beyond the grave, I'm like a zombie. From beyond the grave, I can fuck you up if you fuck with me.
Jeez,
so.
Guess maybe it's maybe it is Ghost Island, Richie. Jeez.
Ghost Island. I'm like the twist. Their advantage. I annoy their trimates for an hour and make them not want to vote them out.
But I also will say, like you said, with the challenge going off challenge performance as almost a cop out for strategy. Are they just kind of using your insight on Kyle as a cop out too, instead of making their own minds up and I feel like they're Arthur and Dan are low key kind of just going off challenges and maybe your input about Kyle as an excuse almost instead of saying bad stuff about them themselves.
If that's what they're doing, fine, but they better not tell me it's a cop-out because I feel pretty damn good I was able to fuck with them from beyond the grave. So, I mean, for my self-esteem, don't tell me, guys.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. But
no, it probably was a cop-out, but, like, I mean, it's
I don't
still
know.
a good
I don't know. I'm
excuse
just
to get Kyle.
assuming.
Like, I think Dan using that to get Kyle on his side,
was
because I
smart.
think it's very common knowledge that, like, me and Kyle Shield are good friends outside the game. Like, Kyle Shield is my survivor brother, in a sense. And the fact that, like, Dan, I think, I mean, regardless of whether or not he knew that, the fact that he at least knew that Kyle knew me and used that to his advantage to say, like, hey, Richie said this.
Yeah.
Like, you may trust Richie in a sense, and it's just, like, kind of pulling him in like that. Like, it was really good.
It was
like,
smart.
Some hearsay type of thing. So
it was very smart. So
yeah, it was definitely smart, and so it's definitely props to Dan.
So the viewers knew already, but the Grizzly Bear tribe didn't know that Dolphin Sam would be joining them. He does join them then, and we kind of pan over to their tribe really quick before the next challenge. Arthur kind of instigates Dolphin Sam like he did to Kyle Shield when he joined their tribe, asking who he thought was kind of the leader of his tribe that he was originally on. And Dolphin Sam kind of just says that, Dakota's a good player, Matt's kind of a wild card, and Arthur goes on to say that Emma's been the biggest asset in challenges, knocking those cans down with rubber band.
Yeah.
And finishing that puzzle in the first challenge. So that was interesting to see. And it was even hilarious seeing Kyle Shield say, there's only room for one Kyle in this game.
Kyle.
Did you laugh out loud with that one or what?
I was definitely laughing out loud when I saw that. Like, when Kyle was saying there's one Kyle, only room for one of us, and I'm like...
Kind of scary. Wants the Kyle verse.
It shows that he's gonna play aggressively,
Yeah, let's hope. He wants only... Yeah, he wants to be the only Kyle in the Keelverse, I guess. So then we head over to the next challenge. Kind of got cut off a little bit with the music. I guess my editing skill was a little off there, but Hunter does explain that they're going to do a Tug of War challenge, best of 7, so first of 4 points wins. And since the Wolfpack tribe had 2 girls, we let the other tribe, the Grizzly Bear tribe, pick their order first, so that the Wolfpack tribe could then organize their order based on that. So we head to the Tug of War challenge, which was great to watch. We've been wanting to do something like that for a while. And it starts off with Dakota getting our boy Kyle Shield for the first point. That was pretty cool to see. I'm not going to lie.
I kind of thought it was a little funny how, like, the beginning of it, Kyle Shield was all like, oh, put me against Dakota. Like, kind of flat out saying, like, I feel like he was giving the impression of, like, oh, Dakota's weak. I'll just kick her ass easily. She, like, drags his ass across the first round. I just thought those... It was a little funny. It's like, I love Kyle Shield, but, like, it was funny. It was really funny. Like,
it was funny.
It was super funny to watch that happen. So Dakota's definitely a strong player.
Oh yeah. And then Arthur goes on and gets Matt for this to tie it up 1-1, and then Dolphin Sam, or not yet. No, Dan. Then Dan goes against Emma, and Dan gets Emma. Emma did put up a fight though. So it put up.
Oh, she did.
She did. It put
I feel like if she would have dug her feet down, like I've seen something like The Challenge or like a worse example, Squid Games, where like if they like plant their feet in the ground, like in The Challenge, they have all sorts of Tug of War-esque eliminations where they dig themselves into the ground, wait till the other person tires themselves out, and then they like pull at the last second when that person's exhausted. It's like, I feel like if Emma would have did that, like she would have gotten a point. But it's like Emma still didn't put up a poor performance in this challenge. Like she's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And the fact that this could be considered her worst in all 4 challenges so far, like, is not even close to bad. Like.
Yeah. No, I agree. Actually. Yeah. So then it's a 2-1 lead for the Grizzly Bear tribe, and then Dolphin Sam and Jasper go at it, and Dolphin Sam drags Jasper to the ground, which was crazy to see, putting Grizzly Bear up 3-1, and then after that everybody went once, so you got to put whoever you wanted up. Dolphin Sam goes again, and Jasper, I guess it wasn't really shown, but Dakota says later on that Jasper is kind of pissed, so he wanted to go again, and the same thing happens. Dolphin Sam drags from the ground. Dolphin Sam stays undefeated in challenges and gets Arthur and Dan their first win as Grizzly Bear tribe finally avoids going to tribal. That was crazy.
Dolphin Sam's just a replacement for me in that tribe. So, like, that's the only reason they won.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why.
Right.
So, that was a great challenge to watch. It was good to see the Grizzly Bears finally get a win Arthur and Dan can finally breathe and not have to go to tribal, which was good to see for them, for their game. Huh?
After like 5 rounds.
Yeah, pretty close to it. So then we kind of go over to the Grizzly Bear tribe again, confessionals. Nothing really comes out of that, just some strategy talk. Kind of people just you were interviewing them, kind of talking about if there's going to be a merge, a swap, what the plan kind of is, and they just kind of didn't. They all kind of said the same thing. We'll reassess what happens.
Because I remember that was like a question that, and even when I was filming that, because I did some filming for Wisconsin. One, if some people don't remember that, where I essentially asked the same question to Dakota, Michael, Brienne, and Vanessa when it was those 4 on what tribe was that? It was the Blue tribe. It wasn't.
I actually forgot.
Was the one I was on. No, mine was Puka Puka. Ho-Chunk was Twist Manor.
Yeah, it was Puka Puka, and I forget what the other one was. I'll be honest.
Oh, Nagarote.
That's
what it was. Yeah. That's so much better. Nagarote post-swap, when it was just Dakota, Michael, Brian, and Vanessa, I was like giving them confessionals, and I was all like, hey, like if something happens, you 3 go on one more round, and then there isn't a merge, like what's going to happen? And so I kind of had like weird vibes of like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So I'm like, okay, I might as well try to talk to them, see what they think now. So
yeah,
I thought it was a fun question, and I feel like it's definitely relevant because it can get people to start thinking about the future of the game, whether or not they've already been thinking about it. So
yeah, so that was interesting. And then we head over to the Wolfpack tribe, having to vote somebody out for the first time. It wasn't Jasper's first go around in the tribal, but it was for Dakota, Emma, and Matt. They all Dakota, Emma, and Matt kind of all talk, saying that they're going to tell Jasper that they're going to go for Matt, kind of because they can't trust Matt long term. They rather trust Jasper long term, which is just a bullshit reasoning for them to say. But yeah, they all kind of plan on that. Jasper, we don't really show what he ends up, saying who he wants to really go for, but he just said, I might have to play my idol. No one's really coming up to me, which is kind of concerning. And he goes on to keep talking about how bad his shoes were for the Tug of War.
And then he just changes the topic at one point when I think Emma was talking to him. She's like, who do you want to go for? And he's all like, oh, my shoes were really bad.
He did.
Like, just changes the topic. I'm like, Jasper, buddy, no. Don't change the topic. Say Matt, Dakota, say someone. Like.
Yeah, and it was hard to hear. That's why I kind of put like a little text little message on the bottom, little font there. But yeah, I mean, Emma was straight up talking about Matt, and then he's just like, yeah, I mean, just that challenge my shoes. I'm like, what?
Like, I mean, it's honestly a little adorable. Like, he gives me kind of like vibes of like that little puppy who like just doesn't want to be like hurt. Like the puppy who doesn't want to get hurt. But like, okay, I don't know the analogy I was going for. I forgot half of it. But
yeah.
Like, you kind of feel bad for him because like it feels like he doesn't know what he wants to say, but like he's just trying to like do anything to save himself, and like. It kind of, I don't want to say the aloofness, but like it's just kind of like he changes the topic without even recognizing like, hey, I should probably throw a name out. It's like,
yeah,
I felt bad, but it's like it's kind of like a new type of like not character, but it's kind of like something we don't always see with players. Like,
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, like you want to see people that are more aggressive saying whatever you think we want them to say, but it is really cool to see someone like Jasper who was first time playing and. He's learning on the fly too. He has an idol and advantage up his ass right now, but it's cool to see, and that's what Survivor Wisconsin is meant to be. Obviously, there's a lot of familiar faces, but trying to put some new faces on the screen too. So, then we head over to the dreadful Tribal Council, and it was easily one of the craziest tribals I've seen. I knew something was going to happen with this. With small tribes, there's only 4 people here, and we go to read the votes. Hunter asks, anybody has an idol advantage? Now would be the time to play it. Jasper stands up, plays his idol. You can see all their faces drop like, damn, Jasper is not going out like we thought. And then
I don't know why they were so shocked. Like, there was a good chance he was always going to play it. Like, I mean, they should have thought from his perspective, too. Like, hey,
it's pretty obvious.
I'm one person versus 3 people. Like, why would he not play his idol? Like, even I would have recognized that from a mile away.
Yeah, and I mean, they must have just assumed he didn't find it down there, which I get. But it's tough with 4 people because it's not like they could have maybe split it, but then they're putting one of themselves in danger then, so it's really tough.
Oh yeah.
So
it's why you want to like flush an idol and just vote with him.
Yeah.
It's like, again, like still like worrying about the idol thing, but if you know that at least one other vote was voting with him, then I mean,
Yeah.
or even not voting against him, like split the vote in a way to like make it 2-1-1 or 3-1 in favor of someone else and not Jasper or whatever. Like I don't know. I kind of felt like the idol plays were definitely very impulsive too. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I probably would have played mine in that situation.
Yeah.
Seeing
So then,
the other
let's get to that. So then Jasper plays his, and then Emma stands up, plays hers, and everyone's like, "Holy shit!" And then Dakota plays hers too. All three of them play their idols, and then at that point, the votes don't even matter unless Matt has an idol advantage, because nobody else can go out. All three of them are safe. So Matt.
Okay, but I have a question with that too. If Matt did play an idol, what would have happened? Would you guys have them all go re-vote again, or like what happens if Matt plays an idol and all four of them are immune?
I'll be honest, I don't know, because it's never happened in the real show. So that's a good idea to plan for that if that does happen. I think, again, would a tribe get that small? Probably not, I guess. So that's why I guess it's tough to plan for something like that. But I really don't know, because it almost would have to be like they're all safe that round or something, because go ahead.
Or like a twist, just have like the other tribe come in and vote one of them out. It'd be a weird twist, but like that's an idea I thought of.
That's like, actually that's a good point. I mean, yeah, it probably would have to be something like that. It's just tough. I mean, because they did lose, they were supposed to vote somebody off, but if they all have something to be safe, then like they should be safe that round. So it's almost like, yeah, bring another tribe in to vote one of the four of them out, or you just nobody gets voted off that round. You continue another round, I guess, and then none of them have anything, and then Jasper's probably fucked if they lose though. So it's tough. It was cool to see. I mean, the votes ended up being 3 Jasper, 1 Matt, so Matt was gonna go out. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of impulsive, like you said, for Emma and Dakota to play their idols when they didn't even receive a vote. And I understand their thought process is they probably thought that when Jasper stood up that Jasper probably voted for one of them, maybe over Matt, even though they did tell him to vote for Matt. Maybe they thought that he was going to vote for Emma or Dakota, maybe.
Or maybe that like Matt would have tried to pull one and go for Dakota, because as we kept seeing, Matt kept like dissing Dakota on the sidelines, being like, Dakota's sneaky, she's smart, yada yada.
And Dakota even says in her interview saying, I still don't know if I can fully trust Matt or not, because they've played once together, and Dakota voted Matt out. So that was interesting to see. I felt bad for Matt. I know you and Matt have your rivalry, but I love that guy, and it was tough to see him go out, and he literally couldn't do anything.
I feel bad for him. Oh wait, no, I don't. To quote Matt, no, like I actually do low-key feel bad for him. Like that sucks going out that way. Like I can't imagine how awful that must have felt for him, but like it really that would just suck.
It's tough.
I mean, being voted off first is worse by a long shot, but like that still sucks going out the way he did.
It's tough too, but at the same time, it's almost like, well, at least you can be like, well, I legitimately really couldn't have done anything at that vote. The only thing he really could have done would be beforehand somehow. The only really thing would somehow getting one of the girls to play an idol for him, but like at the same time, like then one of them are going to be out. So it's like,
exactly, yeah.
It's kind of a horse apiece, and then I really was thinking about it before we got on here, really what he could have done besides that, and it's just like the only way really would have been if he turned on one of the girls and went with Jasper and tried to get one of the girls out. That's really the only thing he could have done differently beforehand to really prevent that from happening.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Like, there wasn't really a lot Matt could have done, and that's why I do kind of feel bad, because it's like, Matt actually doesn't play this round that bad. I think offering himself up as, like, a sacrificial lamb isn't always the ideal thing to do, but I feel like it kind of shows trust with Dakota and Emma, because it's like, hey, like, maybe we can trust them the long term. But, like, again, at the same time, it's like, you never want to make yourself receive a vote unless you have, like, an idol you can play in yourself if the target plays an idol for themselves. Like, I don't know. It's definitely not the worst round for Matt, but, like, I don't feel like it's the best round. I kind of feel like he was just screwed regardless of what he did, so.
And then we see Emma and Dakota just waste their idols. So.
Oh, yeah.
That was unfortunate to see, but. So Matt finds out in the exit interview, that he's still alive, heading to Redemption Island to face Kyle W. He gets excited, and I tell them to and reveal that the winner of that challenge will come back in the game and rejoin the Wolfpack tribe. And Matt's like, if I win that, Jasper's fucking out. He says some shit, talking shit to Jasper, which is funny to see.
Well, I don't know why he wouldn't hold more hostility towards the girls for not saving his ass. It's like, in his situation, I'd want to go with the guy on the bottom to guarantee that I have at least one vote on my side. Like, I totally get, like, he wants to get Jasper out because he's like, oh, well, Jasper should have gotten out, but, like,
I think you
might want to pull that person into your side because you guarantee you always have someone backing you up. Whereas, like, let's be completely honest, if it's just Matt and the girls, like, say Matt gets in the game, they vote off Jasper, they still don't merge, and it's Matt and the girls that go to Tribal again, guess what? Obviously, who's going home? Matt. The girls aren't going to separate. Those two aren't going to. I think they've both confirmed that they're good friends outside the game, so why would they separate?
That's true. And I think Matt seems like just have that mindset of keeping that original Wolfpack tribe strong of 5 of them together is, I think, his mindset as of in that moment. So the next episode, episode 4, will feature Kyle W and Matt in a duel. The winner will rejoin the game and join the Wolfpack tribe. And finding out that if for the podcast post episode 4, the loser of that challenge that we will not reveal obviously till the episode airs will be joining me and Richie in the episode 4 podcast shortly to talk about his time, because it's going to be Kyle Wilson or Matt who will officially be the second person out of the season. But man, I love that episode. Our boy, if he watches again, Finnegan commented again on this episode, said it was a hell of an episode, 9 out of 10. The season's starting to get rolling now because of this episode. He said it was cool to see his boy Kyle Shields survive. He said, arguably the best social player in Survivor Wisconsin and Whitewater universe is what he said in the comment. So, nothing really else to talk about. Richie, you want to add anything that we didn't talk about real quick?
Do you want to do any predictions for who is going to win the Redemption Challenge and pretend we don't already know what happens?
I would say we'll just leave it because obviously we know who wins, so it's tough to predict that.
But yeah.
I guess we could do this really quick again, though, like you did last episode at the end for me, is now, we're down to 7 people left in the actual game, and Matt and Kyle Wilson are on Redemption, one of them coming back. So now, Richie, give me your top 3 players playing the best right now after this episode. We did it last podcast, top 4 players at the moment. So now, with Jasper, Dakota, and Emma all playing their idols, being idolists, Jasper still has that advantage though, and Dolphin Sam re-entering the game, what is your top 3 rankings right now of power rankings, like we did last time?
I think Dolphin Sam is an obvious one. Like, he's still in a really great position, even in his new tribe. Like, the biggest thing is that if they go to Tribal Council again before the merge, all Sam has to do is just tell Kyle he has to steal a vote, steal Arthur or Dan's vote, and then, like, boom, they have 3 of 4. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter what Arthur, Dan want or think. Like, Kyle and Sam can just say, like, well, this is what we want to do, so you two are going to go with it. Sam has ultimately, I think, the most power in that new tribe right now. He has 2 votes regardless of what happens, so.
That's very true.
Next person, it's definitely different than what I put down last week, but Dan, definitely, I would probably have to put up a little bit, just because of, how he was able to get Kyle to do what he wanted to do with that vote and keep Arthur around over Kyle W. And I do think that was definitely a smart move. Like, he showcased that, like, yeah, like, I can get people to do what I want them to do, just like the others can. And I do think seeing that little bit and piece from Dan was definitely a lot more to showcase for a strategic game, which obviously, if he's already able to do this in a tribal stage, then there's a good chance that he may be able to showcase it more once it gets to the individual stage. And I think this last one is probably going to be a pretty obvious one, but Emma, once again, just because, Emma's still in a great position. Like, even though she wasted an idol, she's still not going to be targeted. Like, say, even regardless of Kyle or Matt, whoever gets back in the game, they've all kind of agreed that, like, Emma's an asset to them in the game. Like, she's a great person to have around for them. She's someone they all trust, and it's just, even, like, Dakota, I would have said, but Dakota, they were already talking on Grizzlies about how Dakota's, like, a big player. I think one of the things they asked Dolphin Sam was, like, who's the bigger threat in that tribe? And I remember he said Dakota. And if Dakota's already getting thrown out that quickly over Emma, it's kind of showcasing, like, who's in a better spot there for the merge once it goes on. Like, Dakota or Emma? Obviously, for me, Emma. So, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, we love it, Richie. Thank you for that. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in. If you watched this, episode 3 was great. I hope you didn't watch this if you didn't watch the episode, because that would just be dumb, because we just ruined it for you. But if you haven't, for some reason, snuff that torch. But for some reason, if you didn't, go check it out right now. Go check out the other episodes so far of season 2 of Survivor Wisconsin Cabin Fever. Richie just snuffed your torch.
I'm doing it right now as I get it back on.
Richie, I appreciate you joining me again for episode 3 of the Cabin Fever podcast. Yeah, for episode 3, post episode 3, Cabin Fever podcast. Rich Dog Reacts, aka as we call it. We'll see you next time, episode 4. Probably coming later in the week again. Follow us at idle.identifiers on Instagram to stay up to date when episodes are coming out. Appreciate it. See you later.
Bye, guys.